Everybody stay calm.
What's the procedure, everyone?
Everybody calm down.
Man United are back.
Guys, if this is what Ten Hag can do, none of us are ready for 11 Hag. I'm gonna see myself out. Manchester United have experienced a remarkable turnaround in their fortunes over their most recent run of fixtures. What started off as what looked to be a calamitous season has since turned into what looks to be something incredibly positive. Marcus Rashford is finally delivering on the potential that he showed all those years ago when he burst onto the scene. Alejandro Garnacho has proved himself to be exactly what United needed, and for some reason it seems that Luke Shaw was the centre-back solution to stopping Erling Haaland all along. What a world we live in. I can't lie, the derby was a little dodgy from an officiating perspective. But apart from that, this match was encouraging for United fans, a bit worrying for City fans, and has potentially made the summit of the league quite interesting once more. Today, I wanted to take some time to look into what has changed over at United since the beginning of the season, consider if this is all just a flash in the pan, and of course, make a few terrible jokes. With that being said, are Manchester United truly back? Yo, what's going on, guys? Hope you're all doing well. I'm Tinashe and welcome back to the channel. A lot has gone down at Manchester United since the beginning of the season, and a lot is yet to come. Let's start things off today with the guy who is, in a lot of ways, the man of the hour. At the start of the season, to say things were chaotic would be an understatement. I've made multiple videos over the course of the season, venting, trying not to over or underreact, and long story short, I've pretty much always thought that this year was yet another throwaway year. Solskjaer was sacked last season, Ranić came and left, Cristiano Ronaldo and George Mendes were sending texts to every club in Europe and seemingly getting bat from every club in Europe. Players were underperforming and demoralized, and to top things all off, the first two matches of the season were humiliating defeats, Brentford and Brighton. Although, on that note, perhaps we shouldn't be so critical of those defeats. Both of these teams have been in stellar form all year, 7th and 8th respectively at the time of making this video. Brighton have gotten results against Chelsea, Liverpool and Newcastle, and Brentford have done over Manchester City and Liverpool so far. It's quite a competitive league we have on our hands, huh? In any case, Ten Hag has pretty much proven that he knows exactly what he's doing. From what is known by the general public, it seems that there is very little that he's actually done wrong as the season's progressed. He gives straight and to the point answers in the media. You can tell he commands respect from those around him, and I gotta tell you, there are very few managers out there that would have treated Ronaldo the way he did in the lead up to his departure. I'll say it like I've said it multiple times before, I'm a Ronaldo fanboy. I pretty much have been since I was a little boy, but he just acted so unprofessionally in the whole situation, burning bridges that really didn't need to be burnt in very unnecessary fashion, by the way. By publicly calling him out, dropping him, suspending him for disobedience on multiple occasions too, he really did show his hand. Even recently, Marcus Rashford, who was very much Manchester United's star man at the moment and who we'll speak a bit more on later on in the video, was dropped to the bench after reported disciplinary issues. It later came out that he overslept and was late for a team meeting prior to the Wolves match. Doesn't look like he's playing favourites, from what we know at least. And just as well, these decisions have proved to be better for the team. Manchester United are flying right now, and the mood has done a complete 180. We've all been hearing the murmurs of title contender this, title contender that since the restart, and you know what? I'm not gonna lie to you, in good moments, you're always gonna hear things like this when it comes to Manchester United. It's just, it's the way it is. I'm not falling into the hype because I know how fickle of a sport this is. Also, I may have been born at night, but I wasn't born last night. Also, you shouldn't fall for it either. Man United winning a Premier League post-2013.
We don't do that here.
Speaking of the moment in question, the game ended a few days ago, yet here we have Fred still following Kevin De Bruyne. There were shades of Ander Herrera acting as Eden Hazard's shadow a couple of years ago. In possession, you give each other options. Scanning, taking the right decision, go forward to where it's possible. When defending, be on the front foot, be aggressive. As a team, act with togetherness. So have the same ideas in every situation. That is bravery. Ten Hag's words before the game. His players clearly listened. Man United's setup and game plan was fantastic. There wasn't a ton of possession, but there was plenty of incisive passing, and there was never a lack of support running when on the ball. Possession does not always equal dominance, and this match was a good example of that. United's XG of 2.07 versus City's of 0.76, and the fact that City only managed one shot on target all match says quite a lot. There was a sense of urgency throughout the match from the red side as they applied a lot of pressure when off the ball, and it was also great to see that the intensity didn't drop even after Grealish got the opener. I'll be the first to admit that that equalizer, that was fraudulent. Even Ten Hag was confused.
I would be unhappy if I concede a goal like that.
Marcus Rashford, who was miles offside, was judged to have not interfered with play as Fernandes, who arrived late, finished off the move. I can't lie, if hovering over the ball and even performing a couple half feints isn't interfering with play, I'm not so sure what is. I'm also not so sure as to why Stuart Atwell allowed for this goal to stand. But as a United fan, he has my undying gratitude. He is a gentleman and a scholar. If I were a City fan, though. Alright, so I want to take a second to talk about some personnel. Casemiro is just so slick, isn't he? I mean, we already knew he was, right? Guy has been playing between perhaps the two best midfielders of their generation for the past decade and never once looked out of place when it came to running the midfield. In fact, some could say he was the glue that was holding things together on very many occasions. The anticipation, cheeky smiles, the fact that he's allergic to yellow cards, there's something about this guy, huh? And when you consider how important the DM role is, how good this man is, and the fact that Manchester United have not had a proper DM for years, a big part of this team's turnaround becomes easy to explain. Along with the precision and calm of Christian Eriksen and the resilience of Bruno Fernandes, Man United haven't had a midfield that possessed this much authority for a long while. Fred looks to be a guy Ten Hag has taken a liking to as well. It's incredibly rare that a player achieves as much as Rafa Varane has, and no less, as early as he did it in his career. Guy was starting for Real Madrid at centre-back at 19, and he's still performing at a very high level. Injuries have pretty much been the bane of his career over the past couple of years. In fact, some have even suggested that it's possibly one of the reasons for why Madrid did not block his sale. Nonetheless, he's certainly come right at United. He's been playing some great football. Luke Shaw, who's been the definition of hot and cold throughout his United career, has stepped up in fantastic fashion, and as a centre-back, no less. Lisandro Martinez, who is yet another fantastic signing, has been sidelined since the World Cup, likely to ease back into things after a grueling tournament. But I've heard nothing about him being injured or sick. It now seems that he has to fight his way back. Wan-Bissaka has returned to form after filling in for an injured Diogo Dalot. The sequence of him dancing through City's defense was very unexpected. As for Marcus Rashford,
he's the best football player in the world. Why are you laughing for? I'm being serious.
No, I joke, but he's certainly in the form of his life right now. Coming off of a World Cup where he was criminally underutilized, he has already tripled his overall goal tally since last year's campaign. His decision-making, speed, and last touch have all vastly improved, and somehow he still finds time to feed kids in his spare time. It's very impressive. And just to say a couple words on City, they will be back. Unfortunately for City, as fantastic of an outfit they are, they've shown yet again that they are not immune to a lapse in concentration. Look at my man Rashford's position here for United's second. Dude had enough time to do his taxes. You know what, actually, who am I kidding? Rashford doesn't do his own taxes, there's no way. Something is off. Ilkay Gundogan had this to say after City crashed out of the Carabao Cup against Southampton just prior to the United game. Of course, like I've already said, they were done dirty, but after that equalizer went in the derby, they just lost their heads and I guess couldn't recover. They certainly haven't looked like the City we know in recent times. Something that a lot of people seem to believe is that their unpredictability has taken a bit of a step back since they introduced an out-and-out number 9 to their ranks, which ironically kind of goes against what a lot of us have been saying for years now. You you know what I mean. Listen here, right? City have been steamrolling teams without a striker for years now. Just imagine what they'll be capable of now that they have one. It's gonna be carnage. Oh my god, please leave me alone. Haaland is, of course, a freak of nature, and the introduction of the man into the team has been fantastic thus far. Man is on some crazy stuff, but as for City, a team that has played a false nine that drops deep for years now, it seems not having that spare man in the midfield has its consequences. Whether these cons will eventually outweigh the obvious pros is still to be seen. On that note, Haaland has been dropping deeper and deeper at times over the last few games, so who knows how this City side will look in the weeks to come. Back to United. They've already beaten Liverpool, Arsenal, Spurs, and now City so far this season, so things are looking good. But I must admit that a good run of favourable fixtures have led us to the current moment that we're in right now. The City win was massive, but there is still a lot of football to be played. Plus, there are problems. The squad isn't exactly the strongest in terms of reliable depth. I already noted that Luke Shaw has been filling in at centre-back, Anthony Martial is injury-prone, Jadon Sancho has been in the wind, Marcus Rashford has this weird tendency of picking up nasty injuries whenever he hits form. If anything were to happen to Captain Fernandes, Casemiro, or Christian Eriksen, there would be some pretty dark days ahead. In terms of scoring and conceding, the fact that United are 20-odd goals shy of Arsenal, City, and even Newcastle in terms of goal scoring shows how far off they are from the top in that department. But then again, who knows what will happen. What I do know is that this team looks better than it has for a long while. And for me, at the moment, that's enough. Anyway, I expect nothing less than the Premier League, the Champions League, La Liga, and the World Cup. Come May. I'm trying to manage my expectations here. And there we have it. Let me know what you guys think about City, United, the derby, and all that good stuff. Feel free to follow all the socials. That's all for me today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you're having a great day. Cheers, and I will catch you in the next one.